Hello, boys and girls. So nice to see you. It's another beautiful day at Maple Hill. Hope you're having a great day. I got my green eggs and ham shirt on today. See ya. Big Dr. Seuss fan. And as you can see, it is a marvelous day outside. Just simply fantastic. Let you enjoy this while I'm setting up. So some of the noises I hear when I'm out here in Maple Hill, because I believe it used to be like a swampland area with lots of little ponds and streams, is frogs and toads in the distance. So today we have a good story called Warty Toads. And as some of you know, I have two toads as pets. One Freddy, who's a big, almost like brown toad, and then another one called Species, which is like a lighter green toad. Let's learn about some toads today. Magical creatures. Do toads have magical powers? About 2,000 years ago, people in ancient Rome thought so. They believed that if they dropped a small bone from the right side of a toad's body into boiling water, it would turn the water cold. They claimed that a bone from the left side of a toad's body could stop angry dogs from attacking anyone who held it. In ancient times, people believed that toads had the power to make a noisy room quiet. People also believed there was a jewel called a toadstone inside of a toad's head. They thought the jewel was taken out and placed in a ring or necklace, would heat up or change color when it came near poison. This would alert the person wearing it to danger. Today, people know that these ancient beliefs are false. Nevertheless, toads are still fascinating creatures. This drawing from 1491 shows a man taking a toadstone from the head of a toad. In the play, As You Like It, written about 400 years ago by William Shakespeare, a toad is described as having a precious jewel in his head. And so we learned that it is all myth, which is not true. Those poor toads. Toads and frogs. Many people think that toads look like frogs. That's not too surprising. Toads are actually a type of frog. In fact, both kinds of creatures belong to a group of animals called amphibians. These animals usually spend their early life in water and their adult life on land. There's a picture of the western toad and the red-eyed tree frog. There are about 4,000 types of frogs. More than 500 of them are toads. Frogs that are not toads are called true frogs. Though closely related, toads and true frogs are different in many ways. True frogs have thin, wet, smooth skin. Toads have thick, dry skin with rough bumps called warts. True frogs have long back legs for leaping high, while toads have short back legs for walking and hopping. Though they have their differences, both true frogs and toads stay mainly on land during their adult lives. And you can see the warts on the back of the toad. Toads are usually brown, gray, or green. Oh, there you go. As I said, I had two toads, one brown, one green. Many people think that a person can get warts by touching a toad. However, that is not true. Another myth. All these myths about toads that aren't true. Toads are getting a bad rap. Homes everywhere. That's a silly looking toad. Look at that guy. Looks like he's winking at us. Toads can be found in many places such as forests and parks, mountains and deserts, lakes and rivers. Some, such as Spadefoot Toads, live in burrows in the ground. Others, such as green climbing toads, make their homes in trees. The Spadefoot Toad got its name because part of his back feet are shaped like spades. A spade is a tool that is used for digging. The Spadefoot Toad uses these parts to dig its way back into a burrow. And there's a spadefoot. You can see it. Toads can be found in both cold and hot places. Those in cold places escape the freezing winter by digging deep into the ground where it's warmer. They hibernate there until the spring. Toads that live in hot places dig down into the ground during the summer to get away from the heat. They might estivate in dry mud until the fall brings cooler temperatures. Toads in the wild. Look at that. They're North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia. So many parts of the world. Most toads are 2 to 5 inches long. However, a cane toad can grow to 10 inches long. A cane toad must be enormous. Out to eat. Toads hunt other animals for food. They come out at night to find prey such as small insects, snails, worms, mice, rats, birds, and snakes. A toad can see very well, especially at night. While hunting, it can make its bulging eyes look in all directions, even behind it. A toad has great hearing. Its ears, which look like patches of skin behind its eyes, act like drums. Sound bounces off the ears' thinly stretched skin, allowing the toad to feel the vibrations of other animals moving nearby. And there's a bulging eye, and there's the ear, and that is interesting because you can see it does look like a drum right behind the eye. And there's something right next to it too, I've noticed, next to the ear, but like behind the head, it's like a big bump, but on both sides. Maybe we'll learn about that. After finding prey, the toad sometimes pretends not to see it to avoid scaring it away. When the victim gets close enough, the toad shoots out its sticky tongue and quickly grabs it. And look at that tongue. That is awesome. The tip of a toad's tongue has a sticky liquid that holds the prey as it is pulled into the toad's mouth. Toads have no teeth for chewing their food. Instead, they swallow their meals whole. To help the food go down, toads push their eyes down against the roofs of their mouths. That's why a toad looks like it's blinking while it's chewing. I notice that too. When I feed Freddy, especially, he's my bigger toad, I'll feed him the big crickets. And he'll take a big one in his tongue and he'll eat it, and then I'll see his eyes go down, and they're just pushing it down, and then they'll pop back up again. Keeping from danger. Toads have many ways to keep safe from enemies, such as birds and snakes. Some toads have colors that blend in with their surroundings. This camouflage makes it hard for other animals to see them. Other toads, such as the common toad, puff up their bodies by gulping air so they look too big for an enemy to swallow. The crested forest toad is able to camouflage itself among the leaves of the forest floor. And the crested forest toad looks very much like that leaf, so he is doing a really good job of blending in. This common toad has puffed itself up in order to defend itself from a snake. It looks silly. It's got that big body and it's kind of on stilts. But hey, there's a snake there. If that, intimidates the snake and you get away, great idea, Mr. Toad. Still, other toads have other means of defense. They're warts. These bumps produce bad-tasting poison that can harm a predator. As a result, animals that eat toads often get sick and even die. Only a few enemies, such as some skunks, raccoons, and snakes, are not harmed by this poison. Many animals, such as dogs and foxes, will spit out a toad after taking just one bite because its poison tastes so awful. And I didn't know they had poison glands. And I wonder if that's all toads or some toads. Pairing off. Most of the year, toads like to be alone. However, they gather together near water when it's time to mate. Mating takes place at different times of the year, depending on the species of toad. Each type has its own mating call. For example, male Great Plain toads make loud croaking sounds. Females listen closely to identify males of the species. Many male toads, such as the southern toad, call or sing to females by puffing up their throats like balloons. Ah, he's trying to impress them. Within a few days after mating, females lay 2 long strands of eggs in the water. Each strand may have thousands of eggs. A sticky jelly covers them. Most species of toads do not stay with their eggs after they have laid. A strand of toad eggs can be more than 70 feet long. However, many of the eggs are eaten by fish or other animals before they can hatch. After the female lays her eggs, most male and female toads leave them behind. However, some male toads stay around. For example, the male midwife toad protects the eggs by carrying them on his back until they hatch. A male midwife toad. Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen that before. So the male toad is keeping the baby safe. Tiny tadpoles. About a week or so after being laid, a toad's eggs hatch into tadpoles. These baby toads have long tails for swimming, but no legs. They look like tiny black fish. The tadpoles, like fish, also have gills for breathing. The gills take in oxygen from the water. Tadpoles are also called polywogs. Polywogs. That's interesting. I'm going to try to start calling tadpoles polywogs from now on. A tadpole eats plants and dead insects and even other tadpoles. It is also always in danger of being eaten by animals such as fish, snakes, and giant water beetles. A tadpole is not able to protect itself from enemies the way that an adult toad can. Tadpoles cannot live outside of water. Tadpoles grow at different rates, depending on the species. Growth and change. About 3 weeks after hatching, a tadpole starts to change into an adult. The change is called the metamorphosis. First, the tadpole begins to grow legs. Then it slowly loses its gills and starts to develop lungs for breathing. Over the next month, its tail gets shorter and its legs become longer. After being in the water for about 10 weeks, the tadpole loses its tail completely. It is now a small toad. It crawls out of the water and starts its life on land, warts and all. Alright, so this is a life cycle of a toad. And first, the female toad lays her eggs in the water. Then step 2, tadpoles hatch from the eggs after about 1 week. Step 3, when tadpoles start to lose their gills and tails, their legs and lungs begin to grow. Step 4, when it's 4 legs and shorter tail, the tadpole will soon be ready to live on land. And step 5, when its lungs are fully developed and its legs are fully grown, the toad moves onto land. It can live for about 25 years. That's good to know, because my Freddy, the toad, I think he's like 9 years old now. So he can live a long time. Toads and frogs are the only amphibian that lose their tails as adults. Salamanders and newts, which are other kinds of amphibians, keep their tails throughout their entire lives. Helping people. Alright. Although people once wrongly believed that toads had magical powers, the animals are actually helpful to people in several ways. For example, farmers like toads because they eat insects that might otherwise harm their crops. A large cane toad can eat 50 crickets in only 10 minutes. Wow. Some toads can eat as many as 10,000 insects in just one summer. That is a lot. Spade-Footed Toads are often used to predict the weather. Before a heavy rain, they come out of the ground and croak. Their call sounds like they're saying, "Rain today, rain today." It tells people in the area that a storm is coming. Toads are helpful in another way. Scientists are studying how a toad stretches its tongue to catch prey. They're amazed by the speed and power of the muscle in a toad's mouth. Medical doctors hope that they can use this research to help humans who suffer from muscle disease. Understanding how a toad uses its muscles may someday be helpful to people. Look at the size of that toad. Enormous. Toads in danger. Toads have been on Earth for millions of years. However, scientists fear that some species may now be in danger of dying out completely due to changes in the environment and the disease. Since toads live both in water and on land, they are threatened by increasing pollution in all parts of their environment. Also, as more ponds and streams are drained to make ways for new buildings, more toads lose their homes, and there are fewer places for them to breed. In some places in the world, certain species of toads are already extinct. Here are two kinds of toads that are presently in danger. That's sad because extinct means that they're gone. The golden toad. This toad is found only in the mountains of Costa Rica in Central America. Thousands of golden toads used to exist. However, no one has been seen in the wild since 1989. Many scientists fear that golden toads are now extinct. Others think that some are still alive but in hiding. Scientists think that many of the toads may have died as a result of disease, global warming, and the destruction of their habitats by builders. All right, the Yosemite Toad. I've been to Yosemite Park. Beautiful. If you get a chance out west. The toad is found in Sierra Nevada mountains in central California. In recent years, the Yosemite toad population has dropped by about 50%. That's half. Scientists think many toads have died from chemical pollution of the water, cattle, and cars crushing the toads on roads, and deadly disease. So we'll end with our glossary. We have amphibians, which is animals that usually spend part of their life in water and part of their life on land. Bulging, sticking out like a lump. Burrows, tunnels or holes in the ground made by animals. Camouflage, coloring that makes animals look like their surroundings. Environment, the area where an animal or plant lives and all living things such as weather that affect that place. Estivate, to spend the summer in a deep sleep to escape the heat. Extinct, when a kind of plant or animal has died out. Gills, the body part of water animals, the body parts of a water animal that are used for breathing. Global warming, a slow, steady rise in the air temperatures around the world, caused by gases, the collection in the air, and preventing the sun's heat from escaping. Hibernate, to spend the winter in a deep sleep to escape the cold. Metamorphosis, a series of changes that some kinds of animals go through as they develop from eggs to adults. Midwife, a person or animal who helps a female in childbirth. Oxygen, a colorless gas found in the air or water. Predator, an animal that hunts other animals for food. Prey, animals that are hunted by other animals for food. Species, groups that animals are divided into according to some characteristics. Tadpoles, young toads or frogs before they become adults. True frogs, all types of frogs except for toads. And vibrations, rapid back and forth movements that can be felt. All right, I hope you enjoyed the story about toads. I learned so much from the story. I hope you did as well. Hope you're able to enjoy this day today when you get a chance. And I'll see you soon, boys and girls.